Yo, what's up, guys? This is Bad Decisions. It's your boy Sherm.
It's your man Jay.
So right now, guys, we're about to get into a balloon pop video. It's pretty much a catch-up video where after the balloon pop show, the couple meets up after their dates, and we see how they go. So let's go.
Since you guys ended up matching, have you gone on a date?
Unfortunately not.
Okay. Why not?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Why not?
Okay. You want to take it off?
You can start.
Oh, okay, let's start over here.
Start.
In case you guys have never watched one of these balloon pop episodes, like a catch-up episode, whenever these couples are not sitting next to each other, you know some ish happened. And if you see, look, they're both on two completely opposite sides, like on the furthest ends of each.
Well, we made arrangements on Thursday to have brunch on Sunday, and I believe it was set for like 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And I believe I reached out to her on Saturday to see if she wanted me to send a driver to her. You know, I felt like that'd be nice. So we had reservations at Global Ambassador at 1 o'clock. So she didn't reply until 12:55 the next day. You know, and she said she was going to be late and that she had just seen the text and she thought she replied and this, that, and the other. But at that point, it was too late.
Okay.
In my eyes.
Okay. Alicia?
Okay, so yeah, we had chit-chatted throughout the week, and you had asked me, like, are you busy, blah, blah, blah. And of course, yeah, he sent that text. I'm running out the door, and I didn't answer. Like, you know, I didn't, like, leave him hanging, but I didn't. I sent him the audio message, like, hey, I'm going to be, like, 5 minutes late. I'm on my way. And then when I go and check, I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't text him back. So I'm not going to say I'm ditzy, but I'm like, hey, I'm on my way there, blah, blah, blah. So like he said, at 12:55, I'm on my way to the Global Ambassador. His red receipts are on. He reads it, sees that I'm here. You could hear in the audio message, I'm obviously in my car driving, and he just leaves it on red. So then, mind you, I'm driving, going. I don't live that far. And then I get there, and I'm like, hey, just parked in valet, right? So I'm like driving. I'm not totally on my phone.
Yeah.
I just assumed, like, out of good nature, you know, I got up. I went to work last night, got up, got ready, went, that he was just going to meet me there. Like, we had confirmed the date like 3 times already.
Okay.
I understand that that was my fault that I didn't respond to that text. But at this point, we had like 3 confirmations. So I just assumed, maybe that's me, that we were going to show up. And yeah, he left the messages on red, didn't respond. I went, I hung out at the restaurant for like 15 minutes and said, gonna pack her up. Yeah, so no show.
So the reservation was for 1 o'clock. You left 12:55. About what time would you say you got there?
Well, I got there probably like 1:05, 1:10.
Okay.
But I hit him up like, hey, blah, 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 I'm leaving my house right now. That's when the message was sent at 12:55.
Okay.
Bruh. This woman cannot be serious. She cannot be serious. So she's mad that he basically left her on red after he said, hey, do you pretty much still want to go on this date? She didn't answer her phone for a full 24 hours. In 2024, she says that she's a social media influencer. Like, that's one of the biggest things in her job. So you're a content creator. You don't look at your phone for 24 hours?
Yeah, that's fake. That's crazy.
That's nonsense. What happened is you tried to play him and you got played. Is pretty much what happened.
Yeah, you know what? But then if that's the case, why did she actually go to the restaurant and wait? If she actually did.
I mean, I don't know. What I'm assuming is that she thought he was still going to be a simp and still going to show up regardless, that she was going to ignore him 90% of the time. He's still going to show up waiting, because she even admitted that she came late. So Not only did you ignore the message, you're like, oh, well, I thought I replied to it. You thought you replied to it. You confirmed the date three different times, and you still showed up late.
Yeah.
And then you expected him to respond to your message. No. She would... This is the thing that bothers me so much. If the shoe was on the other foot, you know she wouldn't have responded to that.
Of course not.
So, like, at this point, she's just gaslighting him.
Okay. So was there confirmation prior to, this date?
I mean, yeah.
Like she said, you guys had like...
But like I said, I text on Saturday,
So from Saturday...
It wasn't any.
Okay.
So it was like, nah, if you can't communicate, it's kind of pointless.
Okay. Got it. And So you said you did receive the message and you thought you texted him back, but it just didn't go through, or
I'm just on the way out the door, didn't press send, like rushing.
no, on
late to work.
Saturday when he like sent another.
Yeah, I forgot to respond and had the whole text typed
Uh-huh.
and then sent him an audio message like, hey Siri, send so and so a message.
Okay.
And then I open it because I'm like, oh, he didn't respond. It's like 1:05. I'm on the way. And then I look and then I like, okay, I didn't send it. The whole message is typed out, but then everything's getting red. So he's sitting there like watching me say, and I understand what he's saying, like, okay, you didn't confirm, I'm not gonna go. That makes sense. Like, I'll give that to you. But I thought it was just silly to leave me on red. You could have just texted me back and been like, oh girl, I'm not coming. Like, you didn't confirm. I thought that could have just.
Before you go, I think she is petty. I will say that no doubt she's as petty Betty as ever. But I kind of do maybe think she did forget to hit send. It's plausible. It's very plausible. I'm sorry. And she does seem, and she said herself, she could be a little ditzy.
In 2020, bro, she's not serious, bro.
Well, whatever.
So you're telling me that you had serious interest in somebody, that you really wanted to go out with them, and then they sent you a message and you just didn't pay attention to it?
Well, maybe she had interest in him, and you know, she's like, okay, I like him enough. I'll go see where it goes. Blah, you know, the whole thing. And she thought she sent it, and she didn't. I mean, I can maybe give her that, but I'm saying I still think she is full of caca. But yeah,
Bro,
I can give her that.
Nah, I'll be honest. I just think she's playing games. I think she's playing games. I think she's acting like a 19-year-old girl where she's trying to play texting games. Oh, I don't want to seem too thirsty. I'm just not going to reply to him, and then I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to show up. And then she still managed to show up late.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's unacceptable.
And then you got to text him 5 minutes before? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
come on, nonsense. And then you're mad at him because he doesn't want to respond to you promptly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like the definition of a gaslighter.
Hypocrite.
It's been the respectable thing.
Okay.
Because I thought that was weird that you didn't respond, but you're telling people that I ghosted you in Phoenix. But you didn't respond to the last text. So that's kind of weird.
I mean, you responded a whole day later. So do you really call that responding?
It was less than 24 hours. This is your thing. I think you're very picky about times. That is one of the things. You've been very particular and picky about time a couple.
So he's picky about time because you don't respect his time. He set a date. This guy said that he's a business owner, so he runs a business. He's an older guy, so his time means more because he's an older guy. He doesn't want to play games, and he says, hey, are you going to be here? Yes or no? You don't reply at all. He says, okay, whatever. You don't respect my time. I'm good on you. And now you're mad that he's not catering to your needs when you weren't even thoughtful enough to even say anything to him. Narcissistic is what it is. Just a narcissist.
Few instances that we had.
Okay.
Just like we had known each other 72 hours. And then remember that phone call we had?
Which one? Go ahead and let everybody else know.
Yeah, we only had one phone call.
Okay.
What
That was
happened?
one. I could grab the call.
But it was a few times that I called.
That
and
is inaccurate. You
Yeah,
gaslit
it
me on the
was.
phone about that.
It
and
was a few times that I
I'll
called.
go get the
and-
phone. I got the
mean,
screenshots. You
and I
called
got the
me.
text messages.
Yeah, we have all the information. So
All
do you
of
want to
it.
hash it out?
I mean, if we have to.
Yeah, this sounds like a disaster date.
They met 72 hours ago. That's how they arguing already.
Crazy. And here's the thing. I'm mainly on his side because if you see his demeanor, he doesn't seem like he's a guy who's automatically trying to poke the bear or he's trying to go back and forth. He's just literally just defending himself off of something that's utterly ridiculous. Like, I don't get, like, from his conversation, I don't get that he's a person that's
Drama.
like
oriented or
drama,
whatever. Alright, yeah.
aggressive. Like, he just seems pretty dry and cut. But at the same time, he seems like one of those people where it's like, yeah, he's dry and cut, but at the same time, you're not just going to play him or mess with his time.
I just thought it was weird. Okay, so let's run it back so we could clarify for the audience and for you as well.
Yeah, please.
There had been a phone call, right? Roughly 72 hours. So from the very jump, it was hard to confirm the date of the date from the beginning because you kept
agree.
saying, I'll let you know tomorrow. Then
I
tomorrow
did.
came, and then you let me know tomorrow.
But then once Thursday came, I told you I had reservations and it was set.
Absolutely.
Sunday, 1 o'clock, Global Ambassador.
Okay, but that's not the phone call I'm talking about.
But
I'm talking about
Thursday, it was set though. You're talking about from when we did the show originally all the way up until Thursday. we went back and forth, kind of trying to
We
figure out
did go back and
about the
forth on the
date or
phone.
whatever. But Thursday came and it was set 1:00. I told you I had the reservation.
That's not what I'm talking about. We went back and forth and why I think you're picky.
Okay,
I
let's
just
hear.
think,
Let's hear about the
We
call.
just don't get along. I think that's what it really comes down to. But the call was that you had called me roughly, I believe, on Monday, and I didn't answer. You called me around 10 o'clock on Monday. We'd known
10
each other.
p.m.?
Yes, 10
Okay.
p.m. We'd known each other roughly 72 hours. Then we talked the next day, and on the phone, you had told me, well, since you didn't answer my phone call, I didn't know if we were going on the date or not. Like, you're acting like you're my dad or something. Like, I don't
recall that.
Of course you don't.
But I do recall the phone call about, 10 o'clock, but you told me you was free in the evening. So that's why I called that late.
But I didn't say I just thought it was so picky the way that you were on my phone telling me. I felt like it was entitled, to be honest with you, for you to call my phone and talk about when I'm not answering and when I'm answering, and I'd known you for 3 days. I just thought that was rude.
But you still set the date.
Yes, because that was the objective of the show.
But we should have not went on the date if you felt that way. Why schedule the?
I don't believe anything she's saying.
I kind of believe some of it.
I don't believe anything she's saying, man. She just seems dishonest to me. Because he pretty much is saying, like, hey, what's a good time to call you? She said late in the evening. He called her.
She said evening, yeah.
She pretty much ghosted him most of his calls. Because she's just not interested. Is what I'm reading off of it. She just seems like she's just not interested.
I don't know enough. I don't know.
I mean, listen, we only have, this to base off of, their entire interaction.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you for the most part. But I can also see some of her points about how maybe she felt like, what is this place to tell her how to, how to answer her phone or when to answer it, or how he might have come across a little bit like kind of telling her what to do in a sense. I could kind of see it, but for the most part, I do think she's bending the truth and a little petty, but there's some truth in there.
Date.
On this fine Sunday, thank God that we didn't go on the date, because I just feel like this was the energy on the phone.
I saved my money.
So you felt like he was coming at your
Thank
throat?
God.
The same way that it's like this energy, it was very back and forth and very petty on the phone. And he's getting snippy on the phone. And I'm like, okay, so are we going to go on the date? That was my response is, okay, so are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And I do feel like, yes, you're a little snippy. And I didn't appreciate it. But the objective of the show was to go on the date. And it just made me feel a little opportunistic of your objectives, because prior to that, if you want to talk about everything, prior to that, you had sat here and asked me to model for your company. I thought that was rude.
You said you was a content creator.
I didn't say I was a model and then I was going to come model.
But
for
if
you.
I'm
Those aren't
trying to
the
put
same.
money in your pocket, what's wrong with that?
You didn't mention a
I wasn't
thing
trying
about-
to do anything for free, sweetheart.
But
you
you didn't
said
mention
you was a content creator. Like, I'm confused. If
So
that's
when
what
was
you
this
are,
asked?
it
When
was-
did you
it
ask?
was, damn near at the
Maybe
beginning.
Sunday.
At the beginning.
Right
But
away.
She said she was a content creator.
So we filmed Saturday, and then you asked her Sunday if she wanted to model for your business.
Monday, it was pretty early.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it just really gives like you're opportunistic. Like, that's what it gives. I just feel like 3 strikes you're out. For you, it was just a couple weird interactions. Yeah, you asked me to model. You didn't mention anything about money for you to say.
I did tell you that over the phone, that I had no problem
but
paying you.
upon, may I finish speaking?
Go ahead.
Since you wanted to, like, overtalk me. Is that okay with you? I'm just waiting for my turn to talk.
All right, go ahead,
Thank
and then
you.
we'll let you go.
That attitude is crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of agree with her on I do agree with the fact that, like, if he's gonna ask her to model, that he should immediately tell her that she's gonna get paid. Like, it shouldn't just be assumed that he's gonna pay her. Like, I think that she's making a fair point regarding that. Yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna ask me to do something, you definitely need to mention payment.
I mean, I also want to point out, just because, I mean, I do think that, okay, yeah, she's having an attitude here, but he also started it by saying, oh, thank goodness I dodged a bullet or whatever. He got a little petty, too. So I'm just saying, like,
I mean,
she's responding to his energy a little bit, too.
No, I mean, she's
is.
been taking digs the entire time, bro.
Ah.
She's been taking digs and throwing attitude and everything else, and then he's just responding. I'm sorry, listen, I'm on his side with this one. I don't see how it could go any other way, if I'm just being completely honest.
I think she was petty and she was playing games with the texting and communication, but I also think that the conversation, he was probably a little... I can see where she's coming from. I can already see it. Just how he's talking now, I can see where she's coming from, for sure.
I don't know. I just think he's just responding off of the attitude that she's giving him. I see it.
Go right after
I
her.
didn't ever say that I was a model, and then what did I say when you asked me if I wanted to model? I was like, oh, do you want to do a content exchange? Like you detail my car and I make a video about it. You're sending me screenshots talking about this is what I want, and you did not mention anything about payment upon the initial interaction of asking me to model. So no, I don't work for free, and that's how it came across initially. That's okay for me to say. You didn't mention anything about payment till multiple days later when I was like, hey, that rubbed me the wrong way. And you're like, well, you should have said something. Well, I don't know you, and I don't feel comfortable to sit here and go back and forth with you knowing you 2 days. That's crazy.
Okay, Ramon, go ahead.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm good. I ain't gonna do the back and forth.
okay.
Like I said, I offered her an opportunity. I didn't think that, I had to initiate that, yeah, I'm gonna pay you. In my eyes, it was kind of obvious.
I thought it was a given.
Yeah, like if you're a content creator, I don't ask anybody to do anything for free for me. Nothing. So, it was a given that I was gonna pay you. The amount just wasn't discussed.
Got it. Okay, and then so for you, you were like, she could have just told you right then and there if she felt some type of way about it instead of hanging on to it.
She did tell me. She
Okay.
did tell me that she felt some type of way about me asking her about the content, and I told her, that she said she was a content creator. So that was the only reason I brought it to her attention. But I also apologized when she told me it made her feel uncomfortable as well.
Okay. So did it make you feel uncomfortable because you felt like that's the only reason he matched with you, or what about it was like?
Well, to me, it wasn't giving. Like, this is supposed to be a dating show, and then it feels, like I said, opportunistic because you're coming to me for business ventures, and you're talking about, yes, my hobbies and what I like to do for business, but I didn't come on here. This isn't The Apprentice. Like, I didn't come on here to work for you and to be your employee. So, yeah, I thought that was rude that you're asking me to work for you and bring friends to model for you too. And this is before the conversation of payment as well. So to think that that's assumed, I think would be silly. Like, I'm an adult. I don't just assume that I'm going to go somewhere. Like, I like it to be ironed out. But once again, we're not having deep conversations trying to get to know each other. And we had joked on the phone, like, like we were just kind of like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing each other? We were doing that to each other kind of back and forth to death. There was no real like depth of conversation or anything for real.
Okay. So you guys never really got to know each other.
Not really, no.
Okay. Ugh, God,
like I said, it was a few phone calls that I did do, but she didn't answer our call back or text back.
That's not true. How do we have a whole conversation and plan out the date on the phone if I never answer the phone?
Via text.
No, that's not true because
via text, I told you I made reservations for Sunday at 1:00.
You asked me where I wanted to go. I basically halfway planned the date.
I asked you where you wanted to go, yes.
Because you didn't know, and it was so much back and forth that we couldn't even decide a date and a time, and now it's like...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't believe anything that she's saying. I don't believe anything she's saying. She left out a crucial part where I don't believe anything that she apologized to her. I don't believe because she said that she felt very uncomfortable. She left out. I'm not getting disingenuous from him. I'm not getting an overly aggressive because she said that she felt. I'm just getting that he's straight to the point, and I'm not getting disingenuous from him. I'm not getting an overly aggressive. I'm not saying that she's the worst. I'm just getting that he's straight to the point. She just kind of at this point he's annoyed. That's what I see from the situation. I'm not saying that she's the worst thing in the world. It just kind of seems like she just kind of. Is she kind of like have that ditzy personality? I could how get that. I'm seeing from this video, it just kind of seems like she just doesn't really care. Is she kind of like have that ditzy personality? I could get that, and but she just seems like she just doesn't really care. His time means a lot to him. She probably just wasn't. You can see that he took it kind of serious, and that he's probably just annoyed. She didn't mind wasting his time. His time means a lot to him. Painting him in a light that you can see that he took it kind of serious, and that he's probably just annoyed because kind of aggressive. She's kind of painting him in a light that makes him seem like he might have just been. I know you think a little bit kind of aggressive.
Yeah, I don't really.
I don't think he is. What do you think?
So
I know you think a little bit.
I think he's coming across as cool, calm, and
collected,
really, which is probably his personality, but that doesn't mean that what she's saying isn't true. I think he's coming across as cool, calm, but I also think that probably his personality, but that doesn't mean that what she's saying. He might have gotten annoyed because he called her a few times. She didn't answer. Probably. What was the reason for that? I also think that maybe she's being communication was probably poor on both sides. But maybe he's annoyed by that. He might have gotten annoyed because he called her a few times. She didn't answer. What was the reason for that? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe she's being immature. I don't get the vibe that, and so then she's just out here capping. I think I don't know. There's truth on both sides. But
the main reason why
I don't get the vibe that
she's kind of capping is that
out here capping.
When she told her story and he told his story. The
They're
main
both
reason why I get the
typically
vibe
the same
that
story.
she's kind of capping,
But
is
she
that
left out a lot of the
when
details.
she told her
and then
story,
when
and
she told
he told
her
his
side of the
story.
They're both
She tended to
typically
gaslight
the same
him
story.
on the things that happened.
But she left out a lot of the details,
which wasn't
and then
true.
when she told
Like,
her
she-
side of the story,
So,
she
like, an
tended to
example of this was
gaslight
in the
him
beginning.
on the things that happened.
The way that she told the story,
Which
she
wasn't
made it
true.
seem like he was extra petty.
So, like, an example of
because
this was
he
in the
didn't
beginning.
respond immediately to her text.
The way that she told the story, she made it seem
which someone
like
not knowing
he
the
was
full
extra
story would say,
petty
okay, well, yeah, he's
because
petty
he didn't
because she's
respond
waiting there. Why wouldn't you
immediately to her
respond?
text.
Because, you know, she's
Which
waiting
someone
there. That's
not
rude
knowing
to
the
do.
full story would
But
say,
knowing
okay,
the
well,
full
yeah,
story,
he's
the
petty
fact that
because
she's
she
waiting there,
didn't,
why wouldn't you respond?
like,
Because
respond to him for
you
a
know,
whole
she's waiting there. That's
24
rude to do.
hours.
And then
But
on
knowing
top
the
of
full
it,
story,
you
the
respond
fact that
5 minutes
she didn't,
before the date's supposed
like,
to start, that you're gonna
respond
be
to him
late.
for a whole 24 hours.
I mean, I just, to me, it just gives like she's someone that just puts very little effort into the things that she does. I'm not saying she's a bad person. She seems like she is a nice person. It just seems that she just overall didn't care for the situation. And from him, I'm just seeing that like he's just fed up. He just seems like someone that's fed up, that he's tired of dealing with a person like her. And just listen, I think dating in general is frustrating for a lot of people. And I think when a lot of people get in a situation where it seems like they care more than the person that they're trying to pursue cares, that, you know, it just leaves them feeling some type of way. And I just think that ultimately that's what the situation ended up being. I think it's unfortunate. And I think this is what happens when people go on a dating show and don't have intentions on actually dating.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. This is the only thing I can definitively say. I think she was being petty with the situation where they were supposed to meet up for dinner, and she did the whole thing where she didn't respond for 24 hours and then shows up, and all that's childish, immature. Yeah, I can't rock with that. The rest of it, I don't know. I don't know how the conversation went. If I had to choose one of them to give the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to choose him. But I still think there's some more going on here. But she seems a little petty. But yeah.
Yeah. And this is one thing I can also say about the show. And this is why you can't just judge a book by its cover. Like, these people could be completely different. He could be bad in real life, and she could be great. Like, we don't know. But from the original show that I watched that she was in,
yeah,
she did not seem like the kind of person that would do this. She seemed very, like, open. Did she seem a little bit ditzy? Yes, I could kind of get that from it, but she didn't seem like the kind of person that would get it. And there was another person on the show. It was a guy on the show where he seemed like he was completely friendly, and then they did a catch-up show, and he pretty much seemed like an a-hole, if I'm just going to be completely honest with you. So, I mean, you really can't just go off of, you know, what you first observe on a show like this.
Of course.
So,
by the way, not to mention, like, okay, she's acting like this now, but she obviously doesn't like this guy now. Or at least they don't like each other. They're kind of like bad blood now. And you say you think she doesn't care, but, I mean, she seems like she's kind of riled up. Now, maybe that's just her being, like, both of them were going back and forth, like, pointing fingers. So maybe, like, she's trying to, like, prove her point in position. But, I mean, at this point, what's her reason for being chill? I mean, she thinks...
yeah,
they both feel, like, slighted. So, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, listen. To me, it's like, okay, so we did another video on this kind of thing on a catch-up episode where the girl was actually right in the situation, right? And her response was different than this woman's response. Are they different people? Absolutely. But the other girl's response to the last video that we did, the girl seemed more genuine. Like, she was actually trying to get to know the guy. Like, she cared. Like, she put in effort. This video, just her whole energy, it just seems like she just went on the show just for publicity. Which, listen, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I just don't like when people make it seem like they want something and then they drag someone else into it. Like, if you don't want to do that, then that's cool. But don't drag someone else that actually wants to do that in there.
I hear you, bro. I mean, I guess it's one of those disagree ones. Like I said, I'm not over here banging my chest for her or beating the drum for her at all by any means. But I don't really get the sense she's malicious. She might just be.
No, I mean, I don't think she's a bad
not
person.
even malicious. Just, I don't know. I get the sense she just. I don't know the words for it right now, but I don't get the sense she's like trying to be difficult or fake. She just kind of is pressy, whatever.
I mean, listen, to each his own. So ultimately, decision makers, let us know what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think he's right? Do you think she's, maybe she's right in the situation?
it's never right or wrong. Again, that situation, I said last, the situation with her like showing up in a whole 24 hours, she's clearly tripping on that one. I'll say that for a fact. Everything else, I'm just not sure. I don't know. But that's me.
Yeah. Like I said, my main point is that she gaslit him so hard on very few things. To me, I'm like, that was obviously her fault. That's why I'm like, I can't really believe you at this point, because you gaslit him so hard on things that are obviously your fault.
Well, the second one though, was it really gaslight though? Because I mean, she's okay to feel how she felt. Second day, like, hey, come model for my business.
No, I agreed with her on that.
So you said she gaslighted him on two different things. That's like the second one, right? What's the second one?
No, okay, so yeah, I mean, what I was saying was that she made it seem like he had foul intentions for that whole thing, which I said he was wrong for not mentioning the price, but she made it seem like he just kind of said, hey, come do this for me, it's whatever, threw it up in the air. She had little opinion and he just didn't care, is what I was reading off the situation. But then when Arlette asked more questions, you find out that, once he found out that offended her, he apologized, he was sincere about it.
That's fine.
So that leads me to think like, okay, well, he's trying to be reasonable. Like he didn't have foul intent, because once he found out that that's how she interpreted it, he was like, okay, well, I'm not trying to do that. My bad. I apologize.
That's fair.
Which makes me think like, okay, like, he's a reasonable person.
Sure, but she was
opposed to like, but like I said, she didn't mention at any point in time that they came to that point where he apologized and they kind of were like, okay, well, this is where I meant. That's why I said I felt like it was disingenuous, because if you tell me that someone did something that offended you, and they just kind of left it how it is, then I'm gonna be like, okay, and if your side makes sense, I'm gonna ride for you. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, that makes sense. You're right. Like I was before. I was like, yeah, you're right. And then when you leave out the big section where the other person admits that they were wrong and they apologized, and I'm like, okay, are they really that bad? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So,
that's fine.
Like I said, decision makers, let us know what you think. All right, guys. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe.